Do you ever feel like you don't belong? Do you ever find yourself lost in a sea of digital distraction? Or maybe it's a constant stream of negative news and ideas that leave you feeling overwhelmed and disconnected from the world around you. The truth is, many of us are struggling to find our place in the world. We make poor lifestyle choices, we overexpose ourselves to an unhealthy media, and we don't take care of our bodies and our minds. We've been taught to believe that a higher education and prestigious careers will lead us to a successful life. But for many, that promise has been broken. Our society is leaving us economically trapped and mentally exhausted. But what if we could find our way back to a happier and more fulfilling life? What if we could make better choices for ourselves and connect with the world around us? Join us on a journey to discover how we can find a way out of the chaos and lead our lives into a happier, more abundant, brighter future. The Lost Generation.
All right, that takes us to number one. The first thing that could be leading you to feeling lost or stuck is your lifestyle choices. And now your lifestyle choices may not seem significant in the moment, but if you've ever heard of the butterfly effect, these little choices that you're making in your day-to-day life can actually change the entire trajectory of your life. So say there's a fork in the road. You take one left, it takes you to California. You take a right, it takes you to Florida. Two entirely different places with one single decision. So you could work out, or you could sit in your bed and watch TV. You could sit and scroll, or you could read. You could take a nap, or you can work. Now, see, they seem so insignificant and just minute in the grand scheme of life, but imagine how they compound over time. If you prioritize all the healthy habits over the ones that feel good in the moment, your lifestyle is going to be reflected of your lifestyle choices. Another massive tendency that so many of you guys deal with is vaping. Vaping sales this year are estimated to surpass $180 billion. You are feeding these giant industries because your inability to actually discipline your dopamine desire and focus. Vape usage is actually linked to anxiety, stress, depression, and countless other mental illnesses because of your dependency to this device. Think about how that is, that you're actually dependent on a device to feel better about yourself. You're literally breathing flavored air for your well-being. Breathe air, bro, just air. That takes me into another one, obesity. Holy sh! 41.9% of adults in America are obese. Think about it. That is almost half of America is overweight because their inability to actually have the self-awareness, the awareness of, okay, well, maybe what I'm putting in my body isn't good for me. Maybe because it's so convenient and accessible doesn't mean it's good for me. A majority of people just don't even give a f. So if you have the awareness to even care about your well-being, that puts you ahead of so much other people. But think about taking it to the next level. Okay, yeah, I'm aware, but how can I take it a step further? Becoming conscious of each and every single one of your little decisions like we were just talking about, and not doing what's just pleasurable and that quick hit of dopamine and that instant gratification, and delaying your gratification and building something of delayed gratification, something that can give you and your family a lifetime of wealth and longevity. Prioritizing your health now when you don't need to, so when you're older, you can have some nachos on the beach because you prioritize your health all those years. Don't be another one of these 41.9%. Don't become just a percentile of the masses. Stand out, think for yourself, become conscious of your habits, and implement better habits if you want to start living a life full of clarity, fulfillment, love, and happiness. And that takes me into the second thing that could be leading you to a uncertain and lost, stuck life. Your lack of exercise. Obviously, if 41.9% of Americans are overweight, that means there's a huge lack of exercise and a lack of awareness for your physical well-being. It's so easy to just go into the gym, hop on the treadmill, lift some weights, get your blood flow going, but why do so many people fail to do it? Well, when I was growing up, something my dad always told me is that 80% of success is just showing up. So why are so many people just not showing up? Well, it all comes down to one underlying cause, and that is people love comfort. People are always going to choose what's easy. This is called hedonism, where they choose everything that's pleasurable in the moment, and in return causing pain. What you need to do is the exact opposite. Choose to do what's painful in the moment so that the pleasurable things become more pleasurable. So you do an ice bath. No one wants to do a fucking ice bath. That's why an ice bath really can mold someone's character, because you don't want to fucking sit in a freezing cold. No one wants to do that. I would much rather sit in a hot tub. But the reward that comes with sitting through that agonizing cold feels way better than if I were just to go do what's pleasurable. Same with going in the gym. No one ever wants to go to the gym. Obviously, no one wants to go lift heavy and work out really hard unless you're a gym bro, like a lot of us are. But the reward that comes with it is something that can't be bought, something that can't be instantly gratified to you. It's every day showing up, putting in the work to get a good physique, or taking steroids. But even if you take steroids, you still have to put in hard work. That's why a good physique is one of the most valuable things that you can have. So if you're lacking mental clarity, go on a run, hop on the treadmill, go in the gym, and just allow your mind to be still. Get your heart rate running, start sweating, actually get in a good workout, and your mental clarity will be on another level. But once you leave the gym, that doesn't mean you get to scroll all day. It's doing these things without stopping. It's the consistency, discipline of doing all of these things, and over time, your brain will begin to seek the dopamine from these natural things like the ice bath, like the gym, and you won't want to scroll all day. You won't want to eat food because the dopamine from these good things and the quick cheap dopamine that you get from food and watching Netflix and scrolling on your phone. So if you feel lost and unstuck, one, let's go back, look at your lifestyle habits. What are you doing every single day, compoundedly, and what's your exercise routine look like? How frequently, how hard are you in the gym? Those two things will make a heap of a difference. But now let's go into the next thing. And the third reason you might be feeling lost is social media. Middle point of this video, to recap, this video is to remind you of all of the ways that the system has basically manipulated you, programmed you into feeling like this. This is basically a pandemic of feeling lost. So social media is another huge, probably one of the most crucial pillars to why we're all feeling lost every single day. What does every single human on the face of the planet do? Scroll on social media. So now we have people who don't even understand themselves taking advice from people who don't understand themselves. So we're basically in this rat race of taking advice from people who try to figure out more about ourselves from people who don't know about themselves. So now we have 5-year-olds getting their schlongs chopped off because they wanted to play with dolls for one day. Now we have kids taking advice from people who don't understand themselves in hopes to understand themselves. So now kids are basically resorting to TikTok and Instagram, short form content to tell them what to think about their life. Can you conceptualize how awful this is? I mean, basically getting your news from anything in this day and age is awful, unless it's a very reliable source or someone you deeply trust. But millions of kids in the up thing is we have politically owned social medias like Instagram and TikTok are politically owned. So if you don't post something that agrees with their agenda, the liberal agenda, you're going to get shadow banned. And if you do promote the liberal agenda, you're going to get promoted. And why is this? Because at the bottom of everything, they want to depopulate the planet. And this is what you're never going to find on any mainstream media, or hardly any content creators are going to talk about how, by infiltrating the minds of the youth. Why do you see such a rise in the LGBTQ community? And I'm not coming at any of you guys who are in that community whatsoever. But if you can't understand the propaganda and the programming that is coming out of everything in attempts to depopulate the planet, you yourself are programmed. It's everywhere. But to get away from this political topic, so many people get offended, and it's very sensitive because our generation is so sensitive because social media. I mean, we used to have kids our age going to war. Now we have kids getting butthurt over words on a fucking screen. I mean, think about how this is. So let's move over to the comparison topic and how kids our age can't even enjoy what they've accomplished. They can't even enjoy what they've achieved because they look at someone who's doing better than them. When I was 20 years old, I got a 2003 BMW and I was proud of myself because I wasn't comparing myself to Jordan Welch, Iman Ghazi, and all these dudes who were driving in Lamborghinis at my age. You know, I was proud of myself because it was good and it was new for me. Now, so many kids our age can't even enjoy their accomplishments because of how many people seem to be doing better or are portraying better than they are. So now we have girls with eating disorders. We have guys with body dysmorphia because we look up to the pinnacle of that industry. Same with girls. They look up to the pinnacle of the modeling industries. Guys look up to the pinnacle of the fitness industry and the finance industry. And now we feel like shit about ourselves when we're really all should be on the same team, helping each other accomplish the next goal. But rather, there's so few real influencers out there who want to help you, but they want to make money off you and they want to feel better than you. It's an egotistical sense of pride where it's like, oh, I'm better than you, I'm an influencer, rather than it being we're all humans, let's grow together, let's tackle this system together. But social media has manipulated so many people's brains into just chasing clout, chasing money, and are really neglecting one key important thing, and that is love and presence. How has social media dictated your life and changed your life in a negative or positive way?
Social media has definitely impacted my life, as I'm sure it has impacted everybody in our generation's lives, due to the fact that it has taken over and our day-to-day lives are basically dictated by social media. So say I wake up and I'm in a good mood and then I see something on social media that makes me not feel as good about myself. Maybe I see another girl that I compared myself to, or maybe I see somebody else's life that I've compared my life to. And then I'm in a bad mood for the rest of the day. And I think that this is the reason why the cases of mental illness have been on the rise steadily since the start of social media. And if we look at ADHD, depression, anxiety, how all of these things are just steadily increasing at an exponential rate, it's so scary. And it makes so much sense because at the beginning, social media was all about fun and it was all about just sharing goofy photos and having a good time. And now it's all about money, showing off, comparison, and flaunting. So it makes sense why we're all so unhappy with our lives, because you may accomplish something and be really proud of yourself, and then you go look at somebody's post and you realize, oh, well, what they did is 10 times bigger what I just did, so now I feel bad about myself. And it's not only through social media, it's also through the music industry. I mean, I grew up hearing songs talking about if you don't have a big butt, then you're basically just not attractive. So what do you think that does to the mind of a 13-year-old girl who is constantly looking at edited pictures on social media? It makes you feel horrible about yourself. And then you carry that with you throughout your life, and it only grows and festers more and more. Know that everything you're seeing is 1 second out of somebody's day, so don't take it to heart and learn to love and appreciate your life for what it is.
So that takes me to number 3. Another thing that could be leading you to feeling stuck and lost in this crazy world that we live in is the economic traps that they have set for us all to be in. We have stagnating wages, yet they're jacking up the prices of inflation, and you don't get paid more for your hours. We still have people making $12 an hour for what feels like slave work, while they're inflating the dollar on purpose to make everyone poorer. So what do you do in this situation when everything's becoming more expensive, yet you can't make any more money just exchanging your time for money? You see all these gurus talking about, oh, just dropship, just do Amazon, just do all of these incredibly basic mainstream things in order to make money. But really, this just leads you to feeling more lost, because a lot of people will try these things. A lot of people will try dropshipping, a lot of people will try Amazon FBA, and afterwards they feel even more stuck because they couldn't make it work. When in reality, a majority of the people that make a lot of money from dropshipping are people that make most of their money trying to teach people how to dropship. You learn the basics of dropshipping, like how to run Facebook ads and how to target people, and then you just teach people how to do the same thing. So what do you do? Well, the truth is that there's endless options, but the only way to really succeed and live a life of your own design and live a life where you make your own money is by making an impact. Whether that be solving a problem, whether that be making someone's life better, providing value to people, that's really the only way you'll ever make substantial income into your own life. And now we see all these banks failing left and right every single day, and a attempt to scare you, an attempt to push you in a fearful state so that you are like, oh my God, what do I do with my money? And then all these banks failing, they're going to come out with a solution, which is going to be the central bank digital currency, and limit how much you spend, monitor what you spend it on. It's going to be like the Vidski back in 2020. You know, they created a problem, and then the solution was the Baxaroonie. It's just going to be the same exact thing, but with money, because they're going for control in every single aspect of your life. The vid was just simply a test to see how conformed everyone will be. Will you conform to what society is telling to you to do, or will you rebel? And a lot of people have rebelled. Living in Florida, I see it everywhere. A majority of people have rebelled against the system. And central bank digital currency is going to be just round 2 of this. You have the choice to be government's, or you can wake up, stand up for yourself, and not accept a reality in which you have to monitor your expenses and get $100 a week, and you can only get 20 miles a week on your electric car. You have to be able to see through all of this. You have to be able to not be in a fearful state with the stagnating wages, the hyperinflation. And if you just watch Jerome Powell talk, they think that if the markets crash, they can just inject money into the markets for them to be healthy. And think about in itself how unhealthy that is. It's awful. So if you really want to make a difference in your financial situation and get out of this trapped feeling of stagnating wages and like you're just stuck, like you make $100 and then you have to pay for your gas and there it goes. You have to solve a problem. You have to connect with people. You have to create a solution to something. Provide value to people. DM as many people as you can. Say, what can I help you with? Or come up with a skill. Learn sales. Learn copywriting. Learn a skill that you can sell. That is how people make it out of this rat race, is you develop a skill, whether that be coding, sales, copywriting, etc. If you learn any sort of skill, you can package it and sell it. And that's how you'll get yourself out of the rat race to begin with. You only need $10,000 to get yourself out of the rat race. You don't need $1 million. I moved out of Ohio into Florida when I had $20,000 in my bank account. You don't need as much as you may think you need. I just needed enough to where I could pay my rent for 2 months, and the pressure of having only that much money allowed me to really need to thrive. It was either sink or swim, right? Like if I didn't pay my rent, you have to have that pressure on yourself, or you're also just gonna keep living in your mom's basement, relying on her to make dinner every night, her to pay the rent, and you're not going to get anywhere. As soon as you have enough money to move out, you need to. That's another huge key part of getting out of this economic trap that you've all been put in. So see through the lines, see in full color, think in full color. Don't rely on the government for anything. I could talk for another 20 minutes about loans and debt and how so many people don't even have the money to buy a car, and they take out more than double their net worth on a loan for a car, and then you're trapped. You go through college, you get in debt, you need a house, you need a place to live after college, so you get a loan out on a house. So now it's just, if you look at America's debt, we're about to be the first time in history that we default on our debt, which means America can't pay our debt. That's fucked. So you look everywhere. 99% of the cars you see on the road aren't owned, they're leased, which means that person has debt. You have to avoid debt at all costs. Obviously, there is good debt, like building your credit score debt, or a debt on a house that you're renting. But try to avoid debt at all costs. And college is the main thing that gets you to sink into the system. So that takes me to number 4. Fourth, collapsing institutions. It is currently 12:30 on a Tuesday, and this place is usually packed with people on the weekends. And the reason for that being is because the system has everyone aged 4 to 18 locked in jail, essentially, at school. They put you there, they indoctrinate you from your youth, and you have absolutely no choice. It's actually illegal if you don't go to school. And in school, you have absolutely no free will over what they're taught. The system decides what you get taught. So basically, they're teaching things that they don't even know for certain, like evolution. Still a theory. Who knows? But it's still a theory. History. They say history to a T, like they know exactly what happened, but the truth is no one really knows for 100% certainty what happened in the past. So basically, people are starting to wake up to the system failures, to the indoctrination that they've all been placed through. Because John D. Rockefeller, we all know that John D. Rockefeller funded the Education Board in 1913 because he wanted to breed workers, not free thinkers. And now we're essentially experiencing the information revolution where everyone is waking up and realizing all of these things because we now connect to each other all across the globe via the internet. And this is what's going to collapse the education system because so many kids are being forced to go to school because of their parents' ways of thinking. So now our future generations all are aware of like, wow, college is a scam. But if you talk to your grandparents, all of them will say college is very necessary. Even some of your parents, college is very necessary. So this leads kids to feeling lost because they feel like, well, I have to go to school. So if you do feel this pressure to go to school, even though you don't really want to, ask yourself, what would I be using my degree for? Would I even use my degree? Because I can name countless individuals who spend the money and the time in the education system working so hard to get a degree that is absolutely meaningless to their immediate life. Now, would you rather be in the prison education system, or would you rather be out here living a life on your own terms on a Tuesday at noon? Because the truth is you can do anything you want, but you have to be able to see through the system that has indoctrinated you so heavily. School doesn't give you the time to actually learn about yourself. I mean, when was the last time you actually had the time to sit there and figure out like, damn, what do I want to do with my future? They don't give you any time, and this is all intentional. Because by the time you graduate, everyone expects you to know where you want to go to college, know what you want to do for the rest of your life, pick your major, and you feel this immense pressure. You're like, dude, what the I know when I graduated college, I didn't even have the time to say goodbye to my friends or like graduate before I was thrown into the indoctrination system part 2. So this is why it's incredibly important for you to take the time, instead of going out every weekend, maybe just once a month, sit down and reflect on your current situation rather than go party with your friends all the time. And I mean, in high school, it's very important for you to make memories because after that, that's when everyone gets thrown into the real world and they all deal with responsibilities because so few people wake up to the system. But you do not have to accept this as a reality. Your reality can be whatever you want it to be. Create your reality. That's exactly the whole message of this video is you don't need to feel this way. But if you don't wake up to the paradigms that have been placed upon you, you're going to. So normalize taking a gap year in between high school and college. Just because you take a gap year doesn't mean you're never going to college, but college is not going anywhere that we know of, even though the systems are collapsing. Take a fucking gap year, and if your parents don't support you, go get a job, out, pay your own rent, live minimally. You don't need to live some crazy party lifestyle like all these college, and they entice you to go to college by surrounding you with attractive people that are your age, putting you in basically resorts, giving you a bunch of fucking alcohol at your peak sexual activity. I mean, it makes sense why so many people want to go to college, but it's a waste of time and a waste of money unless you know exactly what you want to do with your life. So see through the system unless you want to be a slave forever.
Okay, lastly, but not leastly, the numbing disconnection that we've been experiencing. I think Davidsky is obviously a government psyop to infiltrate the minds of the population. Ever since the vid, our minds have been corrupted. Our social skills have taken a toll. We're all socially anxious, and we don't even wave to our neighbors anymore. There's so much hostility in between strangers where we see violence on the TVs,
in the news, and now we all made up this term, social anxiety, to the point where we don't have the confidence to be ourselves around new people. So everyone's constantly putting out a facade and a front in attempts to get people to like them for a fake version of who they are, just so they can fit in. But when everyone is doing this, what are we left with? We're left with a society that has lost its authenticity. We're left with a society that is unfulfilling, purposeless. And obviously this is going to corrupt the minds of the youth. When for 2 years of your life, you're stuck inside, you can't go outside, you can't go to the gym, you have to stay 6 feet away from people, you can't go to school. Some of you guys didn't have a graduation, some of you guys didn't have a senior spring break. You guys were robbed of your rights, and it's fucked up. So obviously, after such an event, we're going to experience some sort of repercussion, and that is mentally, spiritually, physically. This generation has taken a hit. This generation doesn't get the respect it deserves from older generations. And it's quite a conundrum because these older generations really have no idea what we've been through. You know, sure, life is pretty easy right now because there's opportunities everywhere, because we have social media and we can literally make opportunities out of nothing. But what they don't see is all the negatives that come from these privileges that we've been granted. They don't see the comparison that we deal with. They don't see the social anxiety that we deal with. They don't see what our For You pages have been instilling into our subconscious mind over time. And of course you can say, just man up, don't let it affect you. But we all know that that's not how it works, especially in a time like high school and in college, when you're supposed to be having fun, making memories, and all you can do is feel remorse for yourself because you're not. And I know there's so many people out there that are just looking for a glimmer of hope and some form of connection. And it starts with mastering the pillars that we just talked about, becoming aware of all of them, and waving to your neighbor, going out of your way and giving compliments. To see good in the world, you have to be good in the world. So rather than expecting society as a whole to get better, expect yourself to get better. Do not let the corruption that has been placed upon all of us influence how you behave in society and with your peers. You need to see through all of this. Give compliments for free. Wave, smile, tell people to have a good day. It can really come down to as simple as just being a good person, being an outgoing person, being an enthusiastic person, an optimistic person, rather than a pessimistic person. To really rebel against the system, be a good person. Don't let the politics, the media, infiltrate who you are. Go back to who you were as a kid. That outgoing, playful, happy, joyful, innocent young mind. That is still you, past all the indoctrination. You are capable of living a life full of purpose, full of clarity, full of ambition. But it's up to you. It's not up to the politicians, and the news outlets. It's up to you, and only you, to make it happen. This is one of my favorite videos I've ever produced in my entire life. And if you're wanting to take your clarity, your purpose, your drive to the next level, and get yourself to the next level, Clarify software has officially launched at the end of this video. This is the official launch to the software I've been working on for the past couple of months that is designed to help you get clarity, become the person you've dreamed of becoming, and organize your thoughts in order to create a reality of your own design. The link for that will be in the description, and I know it has the capability to change your life because I wouldn't promote something that doesn't. But all sales aside, it's up to you. Are you going to take the accountability and the responsibility, or are you going to give up and succumb to the government? The choice is yours.